Hi, my name is Laura, and this is my first ever YouTube video. I know that the majority of videos that I put on this particular account are going to be about Meg Whitman, but I didn't want the very first video to be about Meg Whitman because I think I'm going to be doing more YouTube videos about other topics and other things in the future, and I just didn't want the very first one to be all about Meg. I don't know why. And I don't want it to be a totally negative one. There are things, I have to say, the things that I have to say about Meg Whitman are not necessarily the most pleasant things. They're giving a different perspective, but, on Meg Whitman that other people may not know, but I don't want it to be necessarily about her. What I actually wanted to talk about was Proposition 8, and I'm putting it in this account because I know that Meg Whitman supports Proposition 8. And I just, I feel I'm so strongly against Proposition 8. I truly just don't understand how it is that as humans that anyone could lack the empathy. What is so great about the human species is that we do have that ability to think much more than animals. Not that animals can't think, but we can think to a greater capacity, and we also have the ability to empathize with other humans. And I would think that anybody who has that ability to empathize with others should have that ability to understand that, just because someone is gay, it's not like they chose to be gay. I remember growing up, you just knew there were certain classmates that you had when you were in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. You just knew these particular kids were just different. They seemed like, for boys, they were just a little bit more meek, maybe a little bit more reserved. And then, you get older, and what do you know? They're gay. And you just know if it starts that early in childhood, it's not like as if it's something that they can control. It's a genetic born thing. In most cases, I do believe that there are quite a few people who kind of lean towards one way or the other because of things that may have happened to them in their lives. But for the most part, I believe that the overwhelming majority of people who are, homosexual, they have not chosen to be that way. And if they choose to be that way openly and publicly, then they shouldn't be faulted for it. And it angers me to think that in order to reap the benefits of marriage, it would be okay, these people would be able to do it if they were to live a lie and stay in the closet and to pretend that they're gay or pretend that they're straight instead of, being able to be gay. And it makes me angry to think that we live in that type of culture where we still, like, what are we, in the dark ages? It's like, haven't we gotten past that point where, we feel that being gay is something that, like, people should be denied rights because they're gay. It's sort of like, it makes me feel like, it makes me think of how there was that whole debate about, well, what should the legal drinking age be? Like, why is it okay to allow people who are 18 to be in the military and go die for their country, but they're not allowed to take a drink? Well, why is it okay for people who are gay to be law-abiding citizens, productive members of the community, to, generate money for the economy, and they're denied the right to get married? It bothers me. And I feel like I have a sort of an even stronger perspective on this because I got married about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And I wasn't that big on the idea of marriage before I got married. It was one of those things. Basically, all women are basically brainwashed into feeling like one day you have to grow up and get married. And it's, it sounds like a nice, pleasant thing, but, when you're raised by a single mother like I was, you don't necessarily think that marriage is something that you have to do. So I had that perspective. But my husband was raised by parents who have been together for 50 years, and marriage was important to him. And, it was kind of important to me, but I think a little bit more important to him. And so we got married, and now that I am married, I'm so happy that I'm married. It's a really nice thing. I have a great husband, and I feel like it bothers me to think, I'll get the call later. It bothers me to think that, like I'm getting to enjoy the benefits of marriage. And there are many. And it bothers me to think that there are people out there who want to be married even more than I wanted to be married. Again, I was just kind of, I thought it would be nice, but it wasn't like I was super, I felt really strongly about it. And to think there are people who want to get married, even more than I did, but they're not able to just because they're not straight, that like really bothers me. I may edit these videos a little bit because I do notice I have a tendency to kind of go off track a little bit. And also I believe that with YouTube videos, they're only supposed to be 10 minutes long, so I might have to edit it a little bit to get it to be 10 minutes or under. But one thing I wanted to say about the whole, gay marriage thing is it just seems like anybody who is opposed to gay marriage, to me, and I'm a straight person, to me it feels like if I were gay, I'd be so pissed off because it seems almost like people who are for Proposition 8 are like trying to keep people out of the club of people who get normal human rights. And it just doesn't seem fair. There's 7 different categories of the different blood types. There's O positive, A positive, B positive, AB, O negative, A negative, and B negative. This is like a scale. It's not the gay scale, but it's the blood type scale. And it shows that there's different types of people who exist, and there's different categories. And, the majority is this way, and then there's these people. But then there's also people, the minority that is B negative. And thank God for the B negatives. There's thank God for the B negatives who give blood, because you just need all these different people. And I look at it like it's the same thing with straight and gay people. It's like we need gay people, we need straight people, we need everybody in between. And it's like we should be able as humans to be able to exist with that variety in our culture. And so I really feel like people who support Proposition 8, it's scary to me, honestly, because it's almost like people who discriminate against people because of their sexuality are just like people who discriminate against people because of the color of their skin. It's almost like these types of people are looking for a way to feel superior to others because they don't have other things that make them feel good enough about themselves. Gay people being forced to be straight is very much like straight people being forced to be gay. I mean, can you imagine? I couldn't imagine somebody forcing me to be gay. That would be so violating. Just like it would be totally violating for a gay man to be forced to be straight. The next time that you're at a beach, take a look at all the sand that's on the beach. And if it's really true that there's no such thing as the end of time, then that would mean that every grain of sand actually represents 1,000,000 years that have passed before you and 1,000,000 years that are going to pass long after you're gone. And that's just one grain of sand. And so, think about how much sand there is on the beach. That's how short your time is here on this earth. And to be alive for just such a short period of time, and to be a gay person who is being told that they should just stuff it and not be the way that they were truly meant to be for that short period of time that they get to be alive on this earth, I just feel like that's totally wrong. And that's just my opinion. Don't.
Here's my opinion of Meg Whitman.
My husband is right now.